Yo guys, it's Senzo here, and I'm back at it again, once again late. But this episode, oh my god, it's a banger.
He didn't even introduce us. That's how mad of the episode it was.
Yeah, we don't
Exactly. Sorry guys, I was too excited.
We don't even need it. Let's just get into the episode.
This episode was nuts.
It's just mind blowing. Like
The best episode so far. Let's just put that out there,
Yeah.
which is insane.
This episode is a fucking 20 out of 20. Like 400 out of 10. This episode was nuts. So we start off basically where we left off last episode with Eren and Zeke in. Well, so last episode.
We kind of begin with them clashing at the end.
Yeah,
goes
and
off.
basically we start with baby Eren. We start with Eren's getting his nappy changed
or something. But basically we're going through Grisha's memories. So we're not actually going through Eren's memories, we're going through Grisha's memories, because Zeke's plan is to basically try and show Eren like, Grisha was manipulating you, whatever.
He's basically trying to, in big quotation marks, unbrainwash Eren Yeager.
But in reality what he's trying to do is brainwash him. So it's like, but it's whatever. But we start off with baby Eren and sort of Zeke, and Zeke then explains why they're there, which is he's trying to essentially unbrainwash Eren.
Yeah. But even this first scene, this is when Eren says like, I don't need this, right? He's like, I don't need it, I'm not brainwashed. And we think like at that point you're like, oh, he's just trying to like take the mick out of Zeke by saying like, oh, I'm not brainwashed, blah blah blah. But then later on in the episode we find out what he means by that like phrase when he goes, oh, I'm not brainwashed.
Yeah, but we'll get to that in a second. We're sort of slowly just trudging through some of. It's more of a just Grisha's later memories, because basically the reason Zeke can do this is because I think in the last episode we understand that like this convergence point is where all the memories of the subject of Ymir come to. So like this is where
he can sort of create the exact like replica of the memories, because as Zeke said himself, Ymir has the power to like create anything. So he's he's basically creating a VR like world of Grisha's memories. Yeah, and then like Grisha seeing through it.
But as they sort of go through it, we get to like so we're just going through some basic memories that we've seen before, but it starts to become slightly more important when Grisha is laying down on his desk.
Yeah, he was like, I think he was like writing something like a diary, probably like one of his like war diaries or some shit.
Yeah, and he at the time he was asleep, and what he says is like, Zeke, I'm sorry. And he wakes up suddenly, and he's looking forward at where Zeke is in. This is a bit confusing to understand, but basically it's like where Zeke is in the memory as an adult, and he's like, oh, that can't be Zeke, this guy's old and has a beard, but we know that it is Zeke now, so it's kind of showing an inkling that he can almost see into the future.
I feel like we have to go off track a bit. Should we go to the end and then come back to these scenes and explain them properly?
So basically, just to put it in example, we find out at the end that the Attack Titan's ability, and we let's just say massive credit to us, like not trying to like brag or anything, but like we said, it has something to do with like future vision. Basically, the Attack Titan's ability is to see the future inheritor's memory. That is what the Attack Titan's ability is.
They can basically see anything the future inheritor sees. It's kind of like how the memory transfer works with previous Titan holders, just in the future. Yeah, it's in the future now.
Yeah.
And the reason this is important is because basically we later found, or we sort of near the Eren end sort of sequences, we find out Eren had been manipulating Grisha through memories, through his own memories, because Grisha can see future Eren's memories. He's been manipulating Grisha into basically doing what he wants him to do.
Going back to the scene where he sees Zeke, we looking like through it, you realize he's actually seen Zeke through Eren and through Eren's memories, older future Eren's memories, and that's quite like at first you're very like, what's going on? Why can he see Zeke? But you later realize that he can see him through Eren's eyes.
Because they go to another memory of the when Zeke when Grisha is standing at the door and he says to Eren, I'll show you what's in the basement. This is the season 1 scene, the very first episode. But we now find out he was never looking at the kid Eren, he was looking at future Eren, because he could see the future version. He could see future Eren's memories of where he is now. It's a like a confusing concept to get your head around.
He's not actually seeing Eren in a sense. But because he knows where Eren is, basically because he's seeing himself through Eren's eyes, he knows where Eren's standing.
And he's looking at him in the future, and he's
looking up where he's being seen himself from. It's quite fun. It's quite mind-boggling when you think about it.
A little side note. The fact that he's saying, I'll show you what's in the basement, like with showing future Eren, not young Eren, I think that may insinuate the fact that we missed something in the basement. Like we didn't get everything we needed to get. Like we got the books and Grisha's past, but we may have missed something that like only Grisha knows about. But that's a little side note, thing.
Right before this, just to like backtrack a bit, we see like in one particular, we go back to the memory of when Eren kills those bandits, and I think it's a very important dialogue from Eren. And this is also when Zeke finds out like, oh, Eren is not being manipulated. He's sort of just like, even though like Grisha's like drilling like certain things into Eren's not even young Eren's not taking it. But what future Eren says is like, it's a fucking cold line. He said, if someone tries to steal away my freedom, I won't hesitate to take theirs. If you look at Eren as a character throughout the whole season, like the whole series, the first people that tried to take away his freedom were the Titans. That's why he had such a hatred towards the Titans.
Well, yeah, it was like the whole concept was that the Titans took away his freedom, because that's why he wanted to join the Survey Corps. It's because he's like, I'm trapped in the walls by the Titans. I'm not free. Because they say it a lot. Like, the very first episode, the narrator says, what is it? Like animals in a cage.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like it's insinuating that they're not free.
We also skip past a scene where, as they're looking through the memories, we see Grisha actually finds the Titan formula a lot earlier than when he used it to eat the thingy. And we see he finds it, and we see he chooses not to use it. And this comes as...
Are you talking about the basement?
You mean the lair?
Yeah,
he finds the royal family lair.
Yeah, he finds it a lot. He finds it about a year earlier than he actually went through the whole thing.
And we see Eren and Zeke like quite surprised about this fact. Like, this is a real thing for Zeke, who kind of...
And once again, like when Grisha like goes back and hugs Eren, like he's like, Zeke's like, what the fuck? This is not the same person that raised me. Like, because obviously Grisha was quite apathetic towards Zeke in comparison to Eren.
Apathetic is like, Grisha was a prick. He was a dick towards Zeke.
he was a dickhead.
He was like, he hated this fucking kid.
Well, but basically he just saw him as a tool.
Yeah.
Grisha just saw like Zeke as a tool to get into the military. Like.
But carrying on.
But yeah, back to where we were. Basically, we finally get to the and also a good thing to note, which Gurgen pointed out, is that in previous scenes we see sort of Zeke leading the charge when it came to the memories, but as you move forward, Eren sort of like jumps the gun. He's starting to say, let's go to the next memory, which sort of like foreshadows the fact that Eren's in charge. Like, he was in charge of the whole thing.
Because it's like a lot of the time, so at the first couple of memories, Zeke is like, come, we need to go to the next one, come, let's go to the next one. He was trying to do the manipulation thing where it's like he was controlling the pace, and he was trying to show Eren just what he wanted him to see. But Zeke must have fucking slipped up somewhere with these memories, because the brother started using his own tactics on himself, and this guy started confusing himself with what the hell is he like going on, and it was like Aaron then started his whole sort of manipulation process, and his like, come Zeke, let's go to the next memories. And it was almost like Aaron ended up showing Zeke what he wanted. And it kind of shows, I think it kind of links back to what we were saying before, where Zeke may not have as much power as we thought he did.
Yeah.
So there may be that now, that, it turns out Aaron was in control. And this was like the plan. But, I mean, after that, we get to what?
The final memory. Basically, the underground chapel. Like, we get to the underground chapel scene, where this scene has been shown like this is like the third time seeing this scene by now.
So mad.
Every single time is different. It's different
like, every single time it's like different. Basically, we finally get to see like the whole thing. We see Grisha like go towards the royal family, trying to convince them that use the founding titan abilities to save the wall, like prevent the Titans from coming in, whatever. And a quick thing to note, Frida, who is like the founding Titans like holder at that time, you can sort of see her like considering it, and then as soon as she like closes her eyes, she opens it again, and she starts like muttering like completely different shit. Like she's like it's sort of like alluding to the fact of the king's will.
She gets taken over by the king's will. I think the point of the king's will was less about attacking outside and literally just about assuring complacency.
Yeah.
Like just making sure that there basically, I think the whole point, the king's whole sort of idea was just, he knew that they were going to get attacked by Marley, so what he did was he basically he made the king's will so that they slowly just fizzle out and die. That was like the whole point.
Because basically he's saying the Eldians deserve to die. Like we've like done too much, and in his ideology basically is that let the people be ignorant and just die. Like, which obviously Grisha like says like, well, these people have they're not even part of their ancestors' sins. Why should they suffer?
Yeah, it's like it goes back to season 4 part 1 with Gabby and that girl, when she's sort of telling her like, and they're talking, and they're like, oh, but my mother never did anything. She's not part of those sins, and it's a fair point to make. These people, they had no participation in, so why did they deserve to die just because they were born? Yeah. And then
Grisha did the maddest reveal of the century. He says
he's about to eat them. We all think like, oh, he's just going to do what we've done before. And man just says no. He says no. He says, I don't want to do this. I don't want to murder the children. He says.
Yeah. So and then it's sort of like, pause. This memory is different. Yeah, this is not how we saw it before. Then we find out.
Before that, he like mentions the attack titan ability. He tells them, he tells them what the attack titan ability is, and that's how we found out. And at this point, like Aaron, you see Aaron's expression. My man is angry, bro. Like he is
bugging,
raging. Like, so basically, sorry to sidetrack all the time, but it sort of goes back to like how Aaron's expression he has that vivid expression that he has back at season 1 to 3, which that expression was literally lost in this season.
Yeah,
and in that
Aaron
scene, he sort of gets that
emotionless.
expression again.
In the whole of season 4, Aaron is very emotionless. But then we see here, he is definitely not emotionless now. He is pissed off and about the way that Grisha is acting. And then Grisha denies killing the royal family initially.
Yeah, he's basically like, he sees the children, he's about to transform, and he's like, no, I can't do this.
But then...
And he starts crying.
But then...
this is the best moment in anime, bro. Like, fucking so good.
But then... this motherfucker, he comes up to him like breathing down his neck, and he's like, hey, nah, you're gonna do it. Yeah, and he says,
Bucky P, he's like, do you remember what happened, bro? Do you remember how your sister died? He's emotionally manipulating his own dad. He's like, how all the restorationists died, how Aaron Kruger died for you to be here. And he was like, you started this story. And it's like,
he's basically,
and at this moment, it's so insane. You see the parallel between Zeke and Frida. Frida's being like bugged by Grisha, and Zeke's being bugged by Eren. He's like, what the fuck?
He's terrified. You can see it on his face. Zeke is fucking shitting himself. He knows he's made a mistake. I mean, I think he's realized that he has no. That's sort of when he realized, no, there's no power. He holds no weight in the situation, and Eren is there just basically telling Grisha, like, you started it, you must end it, and he manipulated him into basically grabbing the knife and transforming, and that's sort of when our normal memory resumes, where he kills the entirety of the Horde family and steals the Founder Titan. But then later, when he's outside,
you see Grisha just yelling out. He's yelling out to Eren,
glitching.
Like, I did what you did. I did what you said I should do. Like, he's like, Eren, can you hear me? Like, bro, he's bugging.
A little side note, actually. He literally looks do you remember in Death Note, this is going to be for some slightly older anime fans, in Death Note when Light loses his mind? He acted the exact same way.
Yeah.
Oh, but then, it's just so like.
And honestly, I'm not gonna lie, this is like, the next scene was like quite gut-wrenching. He sees Zeke through the eyes of Eren, obviously.
Yeah.
And
he's just apologizing and just like.
And he's sorry. He's like apologizing, and he's like basically being remorseful. He's like saying, "I was such a shit dad." And also, even though we like clown on Zeke and everything, his character gets closure. Zeke is a good written character, and like, you see him like start crying, because this is also, it's sort of what he always wanted. He wanted like his dad to just love him, his dad to just appreciate him, and he finally gets that.
And then we get to the truly like chilling bit where Grisha looks at him in the eyes and goes, "Eren is going to succeed." He
basically tells Zeke, like, you tried, but it was not enough. And but then he says, "Stop, Eren." So he's still pleading with him to try and sort of. He knows Eren. He knows that Eren cannot be stopped.
He knows it's a lost cause, but he's like.
Well, I think
he wants something to be done.
Yeah, I think what it is he knows Eren cannot be stopped by force. So he's basically just pleading with him to try and convince Eren to stop.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much it, right?
Then, do you see, like, right, it flashes back to, like, them in the convergence point, and you just see, like, Chad Eren doing a T-pose.
Bro, he's fucking
like, whilst
standing
chained,
above him like God.
fucking, like...
It was nuts.
Bro.
But yeah, that
insane.
brings us to a very cliffhangery, but a very riveting conclusion to this episode.
And if anything, this episode has cemented AOT as one of the GOATs. Like, it was already one of the GOATs, but this episode
it puts it in a league of its own. But okay, at risk of making this run for too long, Mandem, this episode was nuts. I don't know what, subscribe or whatever, and do the thing.
Yeah, peace.
Bake off,